You. Okay, Mataji, I cannot record it. I send the request to you. Perhaps you can record it and send it to me later on.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
started the recording.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. So as Prabhu just saying that we are reciting the verses and reading the translation throughout this month. So we thought that we should understand what is the content of this chapter. So we are going to start today. So I'm going to start with the Mangalacharan. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakhurmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manuvishtham Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Shapadantikam वंशकल्पतरुवश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमोऽयं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चातदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल I'm going to share the PowerPoint with you. Can you see?
Yes, Mataji, we can see.
Okay. So before going there to discuss the overview of this chapter, I just want to share the glories of this chapter before starting that one, which is mentioned in Padma Puran. And I found this one from one of the class transcript of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. So I'm going to share this one because if you hear this story, it will make you more understandable that why we need to understand this chapter. Okay, so I'll tell the story in short. Sorry for this story. I had to use AI for making this picture to get into this story. So in Padma Puran, it is mentioned that Lord Shiva was mentioning the glories of Bhagavad Gita, and he also mentioned about this chapter with a story of King Narasingha. King Narasingha of Gauda Desha and his greedy army commander, whose name is Sharava Merond. So there they have been that person, that commander, with the prince, they plotted against that king to kill him and to get the kingdom. So before executing that evil plan, unfortunately, that commander died in cholera. Okay, so after his death, he again reborn in the form of a horse. Okay, and that horse is very nice looking, and that magnificent. That horse is very magnificent, if we can say. So one day, one businessman bought that horse to the king to sell it. So the king bought that the horse, and one day he decided to go for hunting with that horse. And he went outside to hunt, and at some place he decided to take some rest. So while they both are resting, the horse and the king found a paper that is flowing on the river. And out of curiosity, he took out that paper, and something was written on that one. And unknowingly, he read that verses. One verse was written there, and not knowing that one, he was just reading that verse. As soon as he was chanting that verse, suddenly that horse died. Suddenly that horse died, and a beautiful transcendental four-handed form was came out from that dead body. And that transcendental four-handed form then ascending to the Vaikuntha Loka, because that chariot came to take him there. So the king was not understanding what is happening here. So after that person left, he was looking for the place from where that paper came. And beside that river, he found a hermitage, and he went there, and he saw that there are so many students are chanting mantras, and they are also writing on the paper. And he asked that brahmana who was the teacher of those students. He was asking, what is that? I found this one in the on the river. Do you know what is this? And the brahmana said that it is actually from one of my students. It's blown from here, because when we are chanting the verses, we always write down on the paper. And this verse is from the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And the king then shared the story that what happened, I don't understand, about his horse. And then the Brahmana revealed what is the past life of this horse. He said that it is that soul of that in past life he was your commander, and he had some evil plan, and he told all the story. So because he heard that verse you were chanting from this paper, he got liberated. Okay, so that was the story from Padma Puran. But what attracts me from that class transcript of Maharaj, at the last, he mentioned that because the king was reading that verse, right? Chanting the verse. But the horse got liberated. Why not the king? Why not the king? Because the king was reciting the verse. And Maharaj was saying that because when king was chanting the verse, he was not paying fully attention. He was not attentively chanting. But the horse was listening that verse very attentively. So after that, the king went back to the kingdom, and he started reciting the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and at the last, he also got liberated. So the point is here, what I'm trying to say, that even though we are reciting the verses, we need to understand the verses. So that's why this is our endeavor for you, for all of you, to understand what is the content, what actually Lord Krishna is saying to us. So the content of this class that I made in a slide, it is also the sources from this sources are from these classes of Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, and a book written by Swami Bhagavan Keshava Swami Maharaj, Gita Life Spreads, and some notes from my Bhakti Shastri class done by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. And also I did online course, Bhagavad Gita from His Grace Kartikeya Das from ISKCON Whitefield. So these are the sources, and I tried to compile all the information here for this month. Okay, let's start. The flows of the content of the chapter 15. So this chapter is called Purushottam Yoga, right? Yoga means what? To get connected. So Purushottam Yoga means to get connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this entire chapter will tell us, Krishna will tell us how one can get connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is the perfection of our human life. So this chapter has 20 verses, and we can divide in 5 sections. So section 1 contains verses from 1 to 6, section 2 verses 7 to 11, section 3 12 to 15, section 4 16 to 18, and section 5 19 and 20. And what are the contents of this section? The first section, it will tell us, Krishna is telling us that from the material world, the temporary home, this material world, temporary home to the spiritual world, real home. And in section 2, it will describe that the description about the living entities. It is the description of living entities. And in section 3, achieving the Jnana Chakshu, the knowledge, by perceiving Lord Krishna's higher arrangement in this material world. What he did for us, what is the arrangement he did for us. By perceiving those things, one can achieve the Jnana Chakshu, and they will understand that Lord Krishna is the supreme maintainer. And in the section 4, it will tell us that the essence of Vedanta, three Lokis Gita. And here we will be introduced to Purushottama, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is the Sambandha Jnana, we'll discuss more. And in section 5, I cannot control this one. And in section 5, hold on please. Can I just, because this window, Mataji, can I just close it?
Sorry, what is it, Mataji?
The window of all the participants.
Okay.
Can I minimize it?
I think so.
Yes, Mataji, you can.
Yeah, I think
But it is
That's
not.
from your view. Yeah, you can just go on the three dots at the top, and then you can click
It is
on
not.
minimize.
It is not allowing me to do that one. Okay, so in section 5, it will tell us the transformation of the knowledge. Okay, so what actually, when we are getting some knowledge, we have to transform it. It is called the Jnana and Vijnana. So in section 5, in 19 and 20, it will talk about the transformation of that knowledge. So in section 1, let's begin from the section 1. Here, in verse number 1, it is the description of material and spiritual world with an analogy of an upside down banyan tree. And here in verse number 2, it says the description of the tree that resembles the position of this material world. How does one get caught in this section? In verse it will say that how does one get caught in this material world, like the three modes of material nature, sense objects, fruitive activities, etc. The roots are upward and down, branches are downward. Means the tree is the reflection of the spiritual world. It also talks about branches and nourishment, how it is the tree is getting nourishment from the three modes of material nature, and the twigs are the secondary roots. Also it is mentioned secondary roots that are going down. Those are the bondage of the fruitive action. And in verse number 3, Krishna gives the solution of how to get rid of this entanglement. How to get rid of this entanglement. Krishna told that not to get confused or not to get too focused on this tree and or this material world, because it is very confusing. Don't try to get to know that where it ends, where it begins, where it ends, right? So don't get too focused on this tree because it is too confusing. Krishna suggested not to figure it out, but rather to try to get out from this material world. So you don't need to figure out, but try to get out from this material world. And how can we do that? Krishna gives the solution that by cutting down the tree with the weapon of detachment. Okay, like in prison, right? Prison cannot break the prisoner, right? The prisoner cannot destroy the prison, right? Rather, he can try to end his own sentence in prison by proper behavior. So that is the goal. Similarly, we cannot destroy, or we cannot do anything with this material world. Rather, we can cut off our attachment with this material world. As soon as one surrenders unto Krishna, one automatically becomes detached, right? It is actually reciprocation process. Here Krishna is mentioning that cut down your attachment and become his devotee, right? And it is also will happen in the same way. If someone becomes Krishna's devotee, the attachment of this material world will always will also be cut off slowly. So this is the reciprocal process. Now in verse number 4, Krishna recommends the next step. What will you do after this detachment? What he said in this verse 4, one should seek the supreme destination. After the detachment, one should seek for the Krishna's planet, supreme destination, where Krishna personally resides. Okay, where Krishna personally resides, from where no one will not never come back. Whoever went to that Krishna's planet will never come back. And one should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of everything. So, what are the next step? Krishna recommends, after detachment, seek for the supreme destination and surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of everything. And in verse number 5, it mentioned that Krishna told to surrender unto Lord Krishna and seek for the supreme destination, but not everybody can do that. Someone needs some qualities to cultivate, to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in verse number 5, Krishna mentioned those qualities. What are those qualities? That person should be free from false prestige. That person should be free from illusion and free from bad association. Always remain in spiritual consciousness or understanding. Always be relieved from material lust and desire. Stays free from all kind of dualities like happiness, distress, success, failure, victory, defeat, honor, dishonor, criticism, praise. So one must cultivate these qualities to seek for the supreme abode, to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in verse number 5, Krishna mentioned all these qualities. And now number 6. Verse number 6, Krishna mentioned the qualities of the supreme destination. So first he mentioned the qualities of the living entity that one need to acquire to go back to Godhead. And now in verse number 6, Krishna mentioned that the qualities of the supreme destination. And what are those? The nature of that abode is perfect, complete, and fully satisfying to all. And it is self-effulgent. That abode does not need sun, moon, fire, electricity, which are the sources of illumination. And one who reaches there will not come back to this material world. So these are the first section of this chapter that Krishna mentioned about the material world and the spiritual world. And he also mentioned the quality that one must acquire to seek for the supreme abode. And he also mentioned the qualities of the Krishna's abode. So should I stop here, Mataji, Prabhuji? And we'll do the next verses tomorrow.
Yeah, we can pause, Mataji. So we have 4 minutes. So we can take, if you have any like questions or something, you can ask. We have just 4 minutes, or maybe towards the end, or maybe in the last session, you can write down all the questions and can also later on ask Mataji if you have any doubts or something. And was it helpful, Mataji, like when we switched off the videos, like you could see the whole screen, or?
No, I was not able to. I don't know why I couldn't control from my computer.
Mataji, you can stop recording and then we can take.